Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Slay and Shade. I know it's been a while. If you're new to Slay and Shades, it's just me talking about brands or big influencers, just sharing my opinions while doing a below mediocre eye look. Today we're going to be talking about Morphe brushes, and there's so much to do with Morphe that I'm just kind of condensing it down to my personal experience with their products and just some of the shady behavior of the company. And in honor of that, I'm going to be using the only Morphe palette that I have left, which is the Morphe Kathleen Lights palette. And I'm likely going to be going into some of like these little shades here. I'm not really sure. I'm not a big fan of this palette. There are some shades that are okay. The black I don't really care for. This shade here that's sort of like a mustard color, I actually do really enjoy that shade. And so far I just went in with BH Cosmetics, my normal foundation, and the Pro Studio or Studio Pro concealer. And yeah, so we're just gonna jump right into it. If you hear my dog barking, I apologize. He is freaking out because of the snow and he really wants my attention, even though we've already been out there 3 times today. But he is just, he just loves the snow. So he may get like a little anxious. So I'm going to put some powder on because I haven't used some of these shades in like forever. Okay. So, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but I really didn't get into makeup until pretty late, like almost like 30 years old. So when I started to sort of get into makeup, now my basics were just like black shadow with smeared liner on it. You know, I had like 3 makeup brushes. One was from e.l.f. and I think the other 2 were Sonia Kashuk. So it wasn't really like, I didn't know about a lot of brands, a lot of different, things, different brushes for different things, since I just did like one look pretty much all the time. So the first time that I heard about Morphe was actually just from... Oh, also, I'm going to try to use like a Morphe brush. I had 2 sets. The one just completely fell apart. And the other one, which is the vegan set, I had demonstrated what happened to most of those brushes in my favorite brushes video. But I did save a couple. I may use this for something. And I have like this like fluffy kind of brush. I don't know, maybe that'll be useful. So I am going to try to use some Morphe stuff. But the lot of this is going to be Studio Pro from BH Cosmetics and their Smoke and Mirrors set, the silver ones, which like are my favorite. So anyway, so when I started to look for like makeup tutorials and stuff on YouTube, all the big ones came up, of course, like Laura Lee, Desi Perkins back then, and I was just looking for makeup tutorials, and I see that all of these people are using Morphe brushes, and I'm like, oh my god, like this Morphe brand must be amazing. So I found the vegan set. I was very hardcore about purchasing like vegan and cruelty free. I still try to as much as I can, but I saw that their the vegan set was on sale from like something outrageous. Like I want to say it said it was like $99 to like $25.99. And I was like, oh, this is like a cool deal, even though it seemed a little suspicious. So I thought, okay, I will pick this up and then I'll have these brushes that I can use and I'm going to be so excited. They must be so great because everybody's talking about them, And that just was not the case. Some of them were okay, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like all of them were bad. Some of them got the job done, but overall, like they broke so easily. Like it was insane. Like the blush brush I showed in that my favorite brushes video, I only washed that brush once. I'm not an idiot. I didn't like dunk the whole brush in anything, to like have it get like so crazy. And that was the thing. Most of the time with the brushes, it was like a one wash or a one use. and they were separating here. Some of them were already sort of like cracked and busted, and they shed like crazy, which, you know, brushes do. But it was just a lot. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, why are all of these really popular, really influential YouTubers, like beauty YouTubers, using these brushes? Because my e.l.f. brush was better. My Sonia Kashuk brushes were better. So I didn't quite understand it. This was before I got into drama channels. And one of the first ones that I saw do some stuff like on Morphe, I believe, was Here for the Tea, talking about the discount codes, the company as a whole, private labeling, the money that influencers were making from promoting their brushes, whether they were good or bad. And that's when I was like, oh, now I get it. Now I know why they're all like promoting these really bad brushes. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I had a little bit of success with a couple of the brushes, the ones that I did not give away or throw away. But overall, I just wasn't very impressed. So once I started to learn more about the company, the more I did not like Morphe. And, you know, there are so many scams and schemes and things. And really, they are a company that sucked their money-hungry claws into all of these influencers on YouTube, like before a lot of other brands got their hands on them. And, I mean, yeah, that was a smart move, don't get me wrong. But, they were making these influencers a lot of money, and in return these influencers were making them a lot of money. So it was like a match made in heaven, and it didn't matter the quality because everybody's making money, you know. Now, I'm not saying that their brushes are the worst brushes ever, but it's like you could just get some BH cosmetic brushes for like the same price, or just save up and invest in like Sigma, which is my favorite brand, or even Wet n Wild brushes, which you can usually find like at a dollar store or a Rite Aid or a Walgreens for like 99 cents each. And it's actually worth it. I don't know what I'm doing to my face right now. I don't know what I'm trying to do. But I do kind of like this color if I would have been more precise about where I wanted it. So anyway, I mean, I, you know, strayed away from that Morphe stuff, and I would go for like BH or Wet n Wild and Sigma, and I was a lot happier with the performance of shadows, with the quality of the brushes, and there wasn't a lot of drama, you know, there wasn't a lot of like scandals or anything going on with these other companies. It just, you know, buy some brushes, there you go. So, the first big thing I think that I really saw from Morphe was like the releasing of all of the information about like discount codes and things like that, but also their customer service, which I was pretty surprised at. Now, there are people, we'll get into Jaclyn, but there are people that are like legitimately like still waiting for refunds or for other palettes from the whole Jaclyn palette vault fiasco. And, you know, to be honest, like that's some shit. Now, sometimes, you know, I mean, it is up to the consumer. You're buying these cheap brushes, you know, essentially you're getting what you pay for, but they also have horrible customer service, and it's like you're kind of stuck with what you get. They don't give a shit. And anytime you try to, even on social media, like call them out, call their number, you know, they're never available, or they just give you like the same like bot type message, like, please call our customer service, you know, it's just ridiculous. So they had gotten these influencers to shill out their brushes for like so long. Then it was time for all of the collabs. Oh Lord. All of the collabs, all of the many Jaclyn Hill collabs, the Kathleen Light collab, it was just a lot. Like Morphe was just like in your face all the time, you know? And it was irritating because a lot of these products were not very good, you know? And I think, you know, they were making such good money, you know, off of the brushes that obviously they're like, oh, well, if we collaborate with these influencers to make palettes, especially when they did Kathleen Lights, because she was very much popular, you know what I mean? So they were like, oh, then we can sell our crappy eyeshadows now too. Now the thing with their shadows is that I had, oh, what was it called? Like the 35 or something palette. I don't know. I decluttered that because I just didn't like it. I didn't like how the shadows performed. I didn't think that they were like the worst ever, but I didn't think that it was worth all of the hype, you know? And maybe that's just me. And I'm not trying to say if you like Morphe, then like you're wrong or something, because, you know, we all have different experiences with things. So there's collab after collab after collab after collab, and we see some drama going on with these collabs. In particular, one of the most recent ones was the whole Jaclyn Hill Vault collab. Now, Jaclyn Hill had previously put out a palette that everybody seemed to enjoy with Morphe. She said that these shadows in the Vault collection were leftover shadows that she did not choose for that 38 pan palette. So everybody expected the quality of this Vault to be as good as that palette because they were leftover shadows, right? Wrong. So there were inconsistencies with the palette. People did not like, especially that green shade. It was very patchy. There was a big thing about it. And Morphe said that they were going to pull back the launch, reformulate, make more palettes, and then release the new formula. They're going to be pressed differently and all this craziness in a month. It was like, what, 4.5, 5 weeks, something like that. So right there, we all knew, okay, that's not possible to really like do. So these are just the same palettes. This is the same crap. And that's essentially what it was. Now, one of the first videos I saw that really took her and Morphe to task was from Thomas Helbert, you know, essentially saying, like, I have the old, I have the new, and this is not different. It's just not, it's the same. He was all like, Morphe got me fucked up, you know, and that's the thing, the lies. And, you know, and Jaclyn is responsible, I think, as well. But, like, it is ultimately Morphe as a company. I think that they also lied to her. And, I mean, she doesn't seem to be the brightest in the bunch, but I feel like she really did think that they were going to make these new palettes with this new formula. And, like, sorry, you know, but that was not the case. I'm going in with the Lorac Front of the Line Pro eyeliner here. You know, I don't do liner very often, but I thought, why not? I apologize if I end up with my head like on the table, but I can't really see very well. I do typically like this liner, but I'm not good at it. And now you know why. I'm telling you guys, look, this is why I don't really do liner. I'm just not that good at it. I don't know if I'm doing like too wide of like strokes or what. But hey, at least I'm self-aware. I know I suck, but I try. So practice makes perfect. So with this whole vault was also a meet and greet with Morphe, well, with Jaclyn Hill at Morphe stores. Like, she was opening up the stores, and you could have a meet and greet. You had to buy the palettes, all that kind of stuff. And what happened was that the very fine print of this meet and greet, exposed that this was a lottery type meet and greet. It did not matter if you were the first person there. It didn't matter how much you bought. You had a chance to meet her after your purchases, you know? Which is like complete bullshit. Because if you look back at all of the Snapchats and all of, that bullshit from all of the meet and greets, I mean, you can find them on YouTube. People say that kind of stuff. When you look back at all of that, you can see, like, she is not saying this is just a chance possibly to meet me. You'll be entered into like a lottery, she doesn't say any of that stuff. So you're under the impression that possibly they didn't want her to tell people because that way they got more bodies in the store, because not a lot of people are going to travel far if they're like, oh, I'm not even going to really get a chance, you know what I mean, to meet her. So nobody's really going to go for that. But if she kept going on Snapchat and she kept promoting it and acting like she was going to meet everybody, this is going to be the greatest meet and greet ever. I'm going to stay so long and I'm going to meet everybody I can and blah, blah, blah. That, unfortunately, was just not the case. That's not what happened. And so I think that, like, that may be the case with all of their meet and greets, that they try to, get as many people there as they can just so that they get into the store, regardless if you're going to meet the person or not, And truthfully, guys, if it weren't for all of these influencers that were so popular, being involved with Morphe, nobody would care. Let's just look at James Charles' palette. Now, I think that his palette with Morphe looks absolutely incredible. I really do. I have shades like that individually, but the layout is beautiful. It does kind of call to you, and now we're starting to get like some reviews in. But if you look at their makeup, if it wasn't for a James Charles or Kathleen Lights or all these people, would you even care? Like, no. I mean, it's just like so much hype over like nothing. I'm actually going into this shade here in the palette as a highlighter. My girl Messy Jess used it as a highlighter in a video a couple years ago or so, and I was like, oh wow, I actually like it. So yeah, so if it weren't for all these people, nobody would really care about Morphe. I mean, that's my opinion anyway, because there's just so many better options, companies that have better customer service for sure, and you don't have to put up with that bullshit. And, that one palette that I had, that 35, whatever it was it 35 or 34? I can't remember. But I gave that to a friend of mine. I just really wasn't that impressed. The quality just wasn't there for like all of the hype. I just really didn't get it. It's like, you could just, like I said, save up some money and get some better quality brushes. Now, their customer service sucks. We know this. So why are we still buying Morphe? Why haven't they gone away yet? That's what I don't understand. I'm going to go in with the butter bronzer just a little bit. Just a little bit of color. So it's like, why can't we make this brand go away? With all of the drama, with all of the quality issues, with the lies, why are they still so popular, And I really feel like a lot of consumers think the drama channels are just a bunch of bullshit. Now, there is a little corner of the drama community that is, but most of these people, like Beauty Truth Sleuth, for instance, she has some really great Morphe videos. I'll link them if I remember to down below, that really do investigate things because they don't want people to be scammed, especially by this huge company, and you'll see a picture of like Linda with like Jaclyn Hill or like Nikki Tutorials or something, and they're all showing off their Cartier bracelets, I mean, they're making so much freaking money, and they do these videos that show just like how scummy this company is, you know, and just how deep like the lies and everything go. And right now, the most recent thing to come out, I'm going in with Family Jewels from Jeffree Star. I don't know if I've ever used this on here. It actually fell on the floor, so I was like, oh, maybe this will work. Um, it's a little, oh, it does match, I guess. So the most recent thing to come out right now is Thomas Halbert not getting paid his commission for Morphe. There's chatter that there are other influencers that haven't been getting paid either on time or as much as they should be. And Thomas was really like the first one that like pushed his code a lot, but then pulled back when he was like, I don't like Morphe's makeup. I think their brushes are fine. And maybe he wanted to keep that discount code, and that's why he said that. But he was just really like, they're shady, their quality isn't there, the brushes are okay. He was the first one that I saw come out and say that, and I thought that that was like really great. Like finally there's like a bigger influencer that's calling bullshit, you know. I'm going in with the cucumber scented Slay All Day from Gerard Cosmetics. So I mean, I feel like as a community, we need to be like, fuck you, Morphe. We deserve better. We deserve better quality. We deserve the truth. We don't need all of your reformulation bullshit, repressing things this way type of excuses, you know, or throwing your influencers under the bus or not paying them. Like, we should just stop purchasing from Morphe. I know it's hard when you see somebody you like James Charles, and you want that palette. I mean, you know, but it's like when you really look into the company, like look at the people that you're supporting, you know? So I'm not a huge fan of Morphe brushes. I'm not into their brushes. I am not really into any of their shadows or anything. So these are just my personal feelings. If you guys have had good experiences with Morphe, I really want to know, and bad experiences. How do you feel about the company as a whole? Do you think they're shady? Are you sick and tired of all of these influencers shoving the codes down your throat, or only coming out with a video when they're going to do a collab with Morphe, Jaclyn Hill? I'm just really tired of them, and I wish that we could like bring up like some indie brands that are really good, you know, or somebody, you know. And I know that they were the first to really, one of the first to really latch on to the whole influencer YouTube world, and it's going to be hard for them to go away because they make influencers a lot of money. And that's the thing, like we need to put those influencers up there that aren't going to just settle for a paycheck, and they're not going to just lie to us, and they're not going, you know, to just want to make the money. They're going to tell us really what the products are about, you know. And that's another thing that we have to try to change, just to try to lift up these micro influencers up to the top and get some fresh blood, discover better brands, you know, people that we can trust. So this is it for this Slay and Shade. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, subscribe if you feel like it. I will leave my Twitter down below as well. And I will see you guys in the next video, which should be tomorrow. So thank you for watching. Love and hugs. Bye.